Hey, how's it going, guys? So today we're going to be talking a bit about how I make money as a developer that doesn't have a college degree. Now, these are just some of my thoughts, what I've been doing for the last few years, and then I'd also love to hear some of your thoughts on how I could do better, or if you guys have any other experiences to share, please leave them in the comments below. I'll read every single one of them. But I generally like to think that there are three different phases when it comes to being an iOS developer. So the basis of all of these phases is so that you can build up a portfolio. A portfolio is by far one of the number one things that needs to be built up in order to get better pay. More and more these days, people are looking at what you can do rather than what you have learned, because you can definitely learn a lot by a college degree, and that actually helps speed up the process of all of the stuff that I'm talking about. I personally will be going for a college degree in the fall just so I can speed up the process a little bit and also expand my knowledge on things. But for the most part, even coming out of college, most of the stuff that you're going to learn is going to be from the jobs that you do. And so it's kind of a catch-22. Like, jobs are looking for someone with a ton of experience, 4 or 5 years of experience typically. They want someone that does a bunch of different programming languages, that does maybe front end, a little bit of back end, and stuff like that. I mean, it depends on the type of developer that you are, of course. I, for one, am an iOS developer, but this stuff applies if you're a web developer and anyone else. So even before you land your first job, you're going to need to build up a portfolio of sorts, and that's with or without a college degree. And so this applies to everyone. So for phase one of building up a portfolio, basically you're not going to know a whole lot of programming. And so this is a time to build up your skills. This means reading as many books as you can, or following some courses. But the number one thing that you need to do is apply the stuff that you learn into actual projects. Now, how do you get these projects? So you can go for personal projects. If you're an idea person, you have tons of ideas and you just want to make them, that's the best way to do it, because you're passionate about it and you want to get it done as fast as possible. The faster you do these things, the better things are in the long run, because people can see that you're able to produce a product at a fast pace. Now, if you're not an idea person, I, for one, am not that great at getting ideas. I kind of have big ideas and not so much smaller ideas. And so for the things that I want to produce, it's going to take a longer time. And so I just kind of don't worry about them too much. But if you're not an idea person, reach out to friends, reach out to family. I remember my dad, he reached out to some of his friends and kind of said, hey, my son's doing this. Do you guys have any projects or ideas or something for him to do? And some of them actually did. I didn't really take on any of those jobs, but there were opportunities there. And I might have even made a little bit of money if I were to go that route. But yeah, definitely don't expect a whole lot out of that. It's more of a learning opportunity than anything else. Another way that you can find ideas or jobs is through social media. I've been hired, I think, 3 or 4 times just because of Twitter alone. But not only Twitter, but you also can do Facebook if you're okay with that. LinkedIn's a huge one because they have a lot of people that are searching for people to bring into their projects. And so if you say, hey, I'll charge a low rate, I will do this, I know this much, and you might actually land a job. And this kind of goes more into phase 2, but we'll talk about that in just a second. The other thing that I strongly encourage everyone to do is start a blog. Start a blog about how much you're learning, what you have learned that week. I mean, keep it a weekly update or something. The job that I was just hired for, which is a contract job, I literally got hired just because of my YouTube channel. They saw my resume and they were just like, okay, this is interesting. They looked at my YouTube channel and they were like, oh, this kid means business. And so they were just ecstatic about it and they wanted to hire me on the spot, basically. And not only can a blog or anything else actually help you get the job, but it can actually become a job to a certain extent as well. Before I left for Brazil, my YouTube channel was generating close to around $2,000 to $3,000 a month. Now, keep in mind, this is from YouTube, this is from selling courses and all that stuff kind of bagged into one. And so that became a viable job, a viable option for me. If you haven't started a blog, start one. I mean, it could become a career or it could just lead to a career. It's very important to start one. And places to post your blog are another thing to keep in mind too. So Medium pays out, Dev.to also pays out. You can create, of course, your own blog if you're a web developer, put your own ads on there. That's cool too. But those are all great methods to get your blog out there. And with that brings us into phase 2. So now you have some social media presence, you have some portfolio built up that may or may not be great, but you can start there and you can start bringing on higher paying jobs. So higher paying jobs would be freelancing, contract jobs, and stuff like that. So for freelancing, generally, I charge an hourly rate. My hourly rate would be close to around $40 to $50 an hour. I could, of course, charge more, charge less, but that to me seems right for the skill set that I have. And a contract job is just that. You're going to tell them how many hours you can put in, how much they're willing to pay per month, and you sign a contract. So I find a contract job to be a little bit less stressful than a freelance job. Now, how do you find these freelance jobs? So first of all, I would go and build a resume. So first off, if you don't know how to build a resume, I really like this one program or this one website called resume.io. Helped me a lot. But also just search up like web developer resume, and then you should be able to see a few examples and start building your own that way as well. And then once you have your resume, you're going to start uploading that to all of these different websites. LinkedIn. I also really like Upwork, Freelancer, and then even Fiverr kind of works. I never really used Fiverr, but I've used it for other things. And I really liked the whole process of it. So it could be something to look into. But I think I had the most success on Upwork in terms of like getting people to get back to me. If you have any other recommendations, leave them in the comment section down below. And then another one, which is mainly for like contract jobs or even like a big job, is Glassdoor. Glassdoor, I really like going on there just to kind of see how much people are paying. And that way you can kind of keep on top of like if you're charging too much or too little and stuff like that. Like one of my favorite things to do is go into Glassdoor and you search up iOS developer or web developer, whatever you want, and you just kind of look at the different jobs that they offer. They want a bachelor degree and some computer oriented skill and 5+ years of work experience. You know, that kind of keeps you on your mind of like, oh, okay, this is what I need in order to land this type of job. You need to have experience with Git, Internet of Things devices, Bluetooth, stuff like that. And so that kind of keeps you on your feet as to what projects you should be doing in terms of phase 1 and phase 2. But Glassdoor is definitely a place where you can find some contract jobs, but it's more applied to jobs at bigger companies. So once you finally have your freelancing job, never give up on phase 1. Keep up your social media presence, keep up doing your blog, all of that stuff, but make sure that you do well on this freelancing job, because whatever you do here goes into your portfolio, and it shows that you work great as a team member, as an employee, and whatnot. It shows that you can do the work, which brings us to phase 3. Now, phase 3 is getting a job at an organization. So I've been offered some jobs at a bigger organization, but I just figured it's not something I want to do at the place that I am in my life right now. I personally really like working on startups, and so I didn't really want to work at something big quite yet. But pay, healthcare, and many other things are generally better at these larger organizations. So that's something to keep in mind. But generally at a larger organization, you're going to apply. That could be through Glassdoor or anything like that. But also you've built up a social media presence. So you can also go onto LinkedIn, see if there's someone working at the place that you want to work at, reach out to that person, and get to know the people in the business that you're trying to apply to, and apply through them. That's way better than going through the front door, because then you'll kind of have more of a reputation rather than being this nobody that kind of just applied. But even then, you want to make sure that your LinkedIn is up to date. You want to make sure that your resume is up to date, and you want to make sure that your coding skills are up to date, because generally what happens is they're going to make you do a coding challenge or a coding test of some sort. So for the company that I just started applying for, they made me do this app with SwiftUI in 24 hours or 48 hours. And I had to do as much as possible. There were some bonus points, of course, if I connected things to an API or something like that. So I kind of studied beforehand, knowing that I was going to do this sort of test, and I was able to do it. So I built this app that you see to my right, and this landed me the job. But other tests are not so much that way. Sometimes they're more along the lines of, hey, there's this problem here, and I want you to solve it like this, and you only have 30 minutes to an hour to do so. And so you have to basically study beforehand, studying how you work with integers or arrays and all that other type of stuff. It depends on, of course, on the different business and so forth. But generally it's just a test, and you want to do it as fast as possible, and you want to do it as clean code as possible as well, because they want to make sure that you can work well under a stressful situation. It's kind of like going back to high school or college or whatever, where you actually have tests, like the ACT comes to mind with this. You have like 30 minutes, 40 minutes to do a part of the test. And so you just need to do it as fast as possible, getting as many right answers as you can. And for code, it's just that. Doing it as fast as possible, getting the code as clean as you can. You don't just want like a jumbled mess thrown in there because then they see that and they apply that to you, that you're a messy person or something. Now, how to apply to these larger organizations? Again, if you can go through someone that in the company, do that method. But other ways that you can do so is through Indeed, LinkedIn. Again, they have like a job thing there as well. Glassdoor, I thoroughly enjoy Glassdoor. And then if you're looking more into startups, you can also go into angel.co. And so those are kind of my recommendations there. So yeah, that's kind of the experiences that I've had as an iOS developer, and I hope you guys found this helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'll read every single one of them. If you found this video helpful, give it a like and subscribe for future videos. I just moved into my new apartment. I'll show it off one of these days. Happy holidays to everyone. You can kind of see my Charlie Brown Christmas tree back there, but yeah, happy holidays. Anyway, keep on coding, and I'll see you in the next one.